Going to talk a little bit about the last day, not necessarily the last day, but the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I'm excited every year to get into the feast cycle. When springtime comes, I see the little buds beginning to come out on the trees and things begin to come alive. Again, I get excited because it's getting ready to be Passover time when that happens. So I want to look at a few things to cause us to think about what we ought to be thinking about, what Feast of Unleavened Bread is, what I think that it is meant for. We look at the feast days, all of the feast days, together, we're able to see really a complete picture of the plan of redemption and salvation in its entirety. From the moment that we choose to follow after the Most High, all the way up until eternity. You can't hear back there? Do I got it? Okay, I'm trying to speak loud because we only got one mic to share. I guess maybe that's what we got to do. All right, so I want to look at a few verses, several verses, I'll say. The first one I want to look at, I want to go over to Deuteronomy. I want to go to the book of Deuteronomy. Oh, you made me forget what I was saying. I was saying that when we think about these feast days, when we look at these feast days in their entirety, they show us the beginning to the end. The beginning to the end. When we look at Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, all the way up till the last great day of, after Sukkot. And so it's interesting when we look at these days, and a lot of time the main focus, the main thing that we do during these days, the emphasis is a lot on the picture. It's on the picture, but not necessarily what it is that the picture is getting us to remember. We spend a lot of time, cleaning our house and moving furniture and getting crumbs out from all over the place and looking at ingredients, which we're supposed to do those things. But the spiritual significance of Passover is not about bread and crumbs and yeast, right? Okay, so let's look over at Deuteronomy. I want to look at Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3.
It reads, "And he humbled you and let you suffer hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh."
All right, very good. So in the context here, what they ate in the wilderness actually was manna. Right? They ate manna. They didn't eat bread at all. It wasn't eating bread. It was eating manna. Right? They lived off of manna. Right? The Most High led them through the wilderness by the presence of Elohim with the cloud by day and the fire by night. We think about bread. Bread is something that we create from the ingredients that we find, and we gather and we process those ingredients from our earthly scientifical minds. But in the wilderness, they wasn't out there baking bread, right? They wasn't out there gathering ingredients and taking these wheats and barleys and things and smashing them down and milling them and mixing them with, I don't know how you make bread. There's eggs and oil and what else? A little salt maybe, some sugar, some. But it's science, right? And so really bread, when you think about bread, it really is the product of this carnal mind. It's a product of this carnal mind. You're using science and earthly means to make it and to cook it, right? It's a picture of the carnal existence. And so the life that Israel lived in the wilderness didn't depend on bread. Because it's interesting when you look at the verse, it says that man does not live by bread alone. But in the context, again, he just got finished talking about how he humbled them and he caused them to live in the wilderness for 40 years and their shoes didn't break and they didn't need new clothes. Like, he sustained them. But they didn't eat bread, though. They ate manna. And so it's interesting that it says there that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the Most High, because that's actually how they lived. They lived by every word that came from Yahweh. They lived by manna, his provisions, his mysterious provisions that he provided for them, right? And so in the context of this, it points us to the fact that we miraculously survived the wilderness, not because of the strength or the might of our bodies, but by the mighty hand of Yahweh. And seeing that, we can now, moving forward, think about the fact that those things over there, they weren't done by physical means, but only by spiritual means, right? It didn't make any sense that they lived 40 years and their shoes lasted that long, right? It didn't make any sense that they was able to go be in these desert places and then all of a sudden they was thirsty and water came out of a rock, right? These were miraculous things. These were not things that, they wasn't out there digging wells and, using whatever primitive technology that there was to find water under the ground, right? The Most High miraculously led them and caused them to survive. And so when I think about this verse, the second part of it specifically, that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of Yahweh, and especially in the context of Israel reflecting on their time in the wilderness, this makes me think about Passover. Because again, this manna that they ate that wasn't regular bread, they ate unleavened bread. Manna was unleavened bread. It wasn't leavened bread, I know that. It might not have been bread at all, but I'm saying it wasn't leavened bread. It was unleavened. There wasn't anything that caused it to rise in it. it was this thing that they didn't understand. What is it? Manna. What is it? That's what it means. What is it? What is this? Manna. What is this? It's a pun. The pun is intended. It's intended there. But it's this thing that you don't understand. It's a thing that you don't understand, but it's still provision from the Most High. Let's look at Proverbs 3 and 5. Proverbs 3 and 5.
Proverbs 3, verse 5. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
Okay, very good. That's the same thing as don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. That verse says exactly the same thing, but in a different way, right? So we have to learn, like Israel had to learn, to trust in the spirit of Elohim fully, not in carnal understanding, not in the things that we're able to figure out. Like, man, if I take this, these grains and mix them up with these things and stick them over in this other thing for a certain amount of time, I'll be able to come up with something that's sustainable to cause me to. But that's your understanding. But this manna thing, man, if I wake up in the morning and I go get this manna before the sun comes up and gather it, I can eat it. The Most I gave it to me, but if I wait too long, if I keep it too long, it rots. Like, these things don't even make any sense, but because there's a spiritual implication here behind it. But it's helping us to understand that we need to trust in these things that are not physical, not carnal. And so this is what we do when we celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread. This is what it's all about. When we remove the leaven from our houses, from our life, and we not only eat unleavened bread, matzah, but we practice a sinless existence. Right? The yeast is, we pretend that it's like sin. Right? It's this little game. It's like a teaching game for us as the children of the Most High. He gave us this little game that we play. Let's pretend like leaven is sin and get it out of your house. And you live this life that's only a week, but a week is like a full cycle. So it's like a picture of your whole life. And so let's get the sin out and keep it out. And then let's see if we can do that for a whole week. It could be hard sometimes, right? You sit up here, you never even think about things. You go out to the store during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and you sit up here looking at the ingredients. Like, for the most part, you just pick stuff up, put it in the cart. You know what it is. You're familiar with it. You take it, you put it in the cart. But this time we pay extra special attention to these things because we want to keep the yeast or the sin out, right? But again, it's just a picture of our reality with the Most High. Is where we should be careful to make sure that we're not letting sin enter into our situations.
I want to add something too. It's like, I just look at a perspective, even of us just reading back in Deuteronomy when he gave us the manna, he wasn't giving us nothing that had leaven in it, so you didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So I liken it too, like to this time, if you resort to the foods that the Most High made that come right from the ground, how much of it got leaven in it? You don't got to think about it. You just got to simplify. Because that's what, when you got to read the back of something, that's complex. That's adding stuff. That's puffing up. That's man's thoughts that created something. But stuff that come right out the ground, you don't got to think about it. Let me grab this. Most I made that. Put it together, eat it. You done.
It is or it isn't.
It is what it is. He made it easy. We make stuff harder than it got to be.
Hey, look at 1 Corinthians 5:6-8.
All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 5. You said through 8?
Yeah, 6-8.
Okay, 5 verse 6. Your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the entire lump? Therefore, cleanse out the old leaven, so that you are a new lump, as you are unleavened. For also Messiah, our Pesach, was slaughtered for us. So then, let us celebrate the festival, not with old leaven, nor with the leaven of evil and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth.
Okay, very good. So leaven is sin. Leaven is sin. But your renewed self is unleavened. Yeshua is unleavened. And so us without Yeshua is just regular bread. You know, you regular bread without Yeshua, right? But with him, we're unleavened. And so we celebrate not with old leaven, with wickedness, with evil, with sin, but with, it said in the verse, it said sincerity, but that word also is purity. With the unleavened bread of purity and truth. And so again, you think about bread, we're bread. Our default is we're bread. And thinking back to Deuteronomy, we don't live by bread alone. We don't live by our carnal minds, by our own regular selves, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahweh. The unleavened bread, that manna. Okay, 2 Corinthians 1:12.
Second Corinthians 1:12. For our boasting is this, a witness of our conscience, that we have behaved ourselves in the world in simplicity and sincerity of Elohim, not in fleshly wisdom, but in the favor of Elohim, and much more toward you.
Okay, not in fleshly wisdom, not in carnality, not in regular bread, but unleavened bread, right? But in the favor of Elohim. We talk about the favor of Elohim. Does that say grace in King James? It does? Interesting. Because we know that grace is the spirit in us. It's the ability that the Most High gives us to carry out the things that he would have for us to be carrying out. So that literally says not in fleshly wisdom, but in the spirit of Elohim. Which is really the same thing as saying, not living by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Elohim. Don't live your life like regular bread, but live it like unleavened bread. Okay, so again, we think about this time, this week that we exist in this space, and we do this thing. It's I don't like to say tradition, but it's a tradition that the Most High created. It's still a tradition. We do this thing and we do it over and over again. It's a tradition. I mean, it's the Most High's tradition, but it's still a tradition. But the tradition teaches us something from a spiritual standpoint. Okay, Romans 7. We're going to look at Romans 7 because Romans 7 talks about what we're talking about here too. We'll read a little bit at a time. Let's read Romans 7, verse 14.
For we know that the Torah is spiritual, but I am fleshly, sold under sin.
Sold under sin. Somehow we became servants to sin. Somehow we became servants to our flesh and carnality. Somehow sin has some form of authority over us. That's what it says right there. That's what it's talking about. And then you somehow you got under it. It got over you. Your flesh, your carnality, right? Your carnal mind, your what you are as regular bread. Verse 15.
For what I work, I know not. For what I wish, that I do not practice. But what I hate, that I do.
It's like you don't even have no control over yourself. You want to do something, but you can't do it. You don't even know what the thing is all the way, what you do want to do. And you hate the thing that you do, even though you don't want to do it. That sounds like the worst kind of servitude right there, right? You don't even want to be doing the things that you're doing, but you can't help it. But that's what you are, though. You're just being regular bread. That's what you are, right? And then there's a battle, and sometimes this battle you lose. I mean, I'm saying you lose if you hate this thing, but you're doing it anyway, right? You're losing. You don't even know what you're doing. But if you're regular bread, like there's the thing that makes you bread is that sin that's in that leaven that's in there, right? Like I don't take my regular bread and then do something to it and now I got matzah. I got to get rid of it, right? Once it became regular bread, I can't do nothing with it to make it be not regular bread. Yeah, you can't unring the bell. Right? Okay, 16.
But if I do what I do not wish, I agree with the Torah that it is good.
Okay, so you prove that the Torah is right and good by your misbehaving. You prove that you ain't perfect because you prove that the Torah is right and good, and in your inability to do the thing that the Torah say for you to do when you don't do it. If I do what I don't wish, if I do the thing that I don't want to do, I agree with the Torah that it is good. The Torah is good. I'm not good. What does it say in Psalm 14? We're coming back to Romans. What does it say in Psalm 14, 1 through 3?
Psalm 14:1, the fool has said in his heart, there is no Yahweh. They have done corruptly. They have done an abominable deed. There's no one who does good. Yahweh looked down from the heavens on the sons of mankind to see if there was a wise one seeking Yahweh. They have all turned aside. They have together become filthy. No one is doing good, not even one.
Because everyone's just regular bread. That's why you just regular bread. You doing what you can do. How you gonna be unleavened? You're not unleavened, you're regular bread. You can try to be unleavened, like you could maybe smash a piece of regular bread down where it looks like it. Maybe throw it in the toaster and get it nice and crunchy, but you still regular bread though. Right? That's what you are, your regular bread. Right? And so again, we talk about this idea of living by bread alone. I don't want to live by bread at all. I only want to live by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. Okay, go back to Romans 7. Look at 17 through 19.
And now it is no longer that I work it, but the sin dwelling in me. For I know that in me, that is my flesh, dwells no good, for to wish is present with me, but to work the good I do not find. For the good that I wish to do, I do not do, but the evil I do not wish to do, this I practice.
Okay, very good. This is it's just more explaining of you are what you are, and there's nothing that you could do about it, essentially. Within your own self. You can't make yourself be something other than bread. This thing that exists within this carnal existence that is void of the presence of the Most High. This thing that the writer here is describing, it sounds kind of hopeless a little bit, don't it? He wants to do right, but he can't do right. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I can't do it. Okay, keep on going. 20. Let's see. 20. Just read from 20 to 25.
And if I do that which I do not wish, it is no longer I who work it, but the sin dwelling in me. I find therefore this law, that when I wish to do the good, that the evil is present with me. For I delight in the Torah of Elohim according to the inward man, but I see another Torah in my members, battling against the Torah in my mind, and bringing me into captivity, to the Torah of sin, which is in my members. Wretched man that I am, what shall deliver me from this body of death? Thanks to Elohim, through Yeshua Messiah, our Master. So then, with the mind, I myself truly serve the Torah of Elohim, but with the flesh, the Torah of sin.
Okay, very good. So even at the end, by the time he gets to the solution of all of this, what is it that's able to deliver my body from this death? What is able to make me not be regular bread, where I'm able to, for my mind is able to actually be fixed on the true and living Elohim and serve the Torah of Elohim, but I still got this flesh thing. I'm still bread. It's a battle that happens. It's this battle, the battle for your soul, between your carnal mind and the spirit within you. Your mind is telling you no, but your body keeps telling you yes. It's a battle inside of you to change the makeup of what you are. And then so here, just read lastly Romans 8 verse 1.
Romans 8:1. There is then Now, no condemnation to those who are in Messiah Yeshua, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit.
Okay, very good. So because of the fact that we turned from sin, yeast, and became transformed, right? Miraculously changed from bread to matzah, to unleavened bread, miraculously changed. Verse 1 helps us to understand in Messiah, you're matzah. Right? In Messiah, when we're able to walk in Messiah, you're matzah. It don't matter that you're actually really bread. Because the Most High sees you as matzah. He looks at you as matzah. And so it treats you like you're matzah. And so sometimes we forget that we're matzah and then we act like how, that we're bread. But you're not really bread. You was bread. Now you're matzah. Right? So when he said, don't live by bread alone, live by matzah, right? That's gospel. Man, Deuteronomy 8:3 is the gospel message. When he said, don't live by bread alone. Don't be like that carnal self that you are, but just do and be the things that I show for you to do. And matter of fact, when we look at it, again, in the context, this is the Most High leads Israel through the wilderness. They're literally being led by the Spirit.
Yeah.
He's literally asking the people, don't live this life in the wilderness according to your own understanding, because you're going to get lost. Their own understanding probably would have had them there quicker to where they was going. Yeah, all you gotta do, there's a way to get there that don't take 40 years. Good.
That's why they couldn't pack it with them. If you was going out here, the lesson was you need to be unleavened.
Yeah.
You need to live by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh. You can't bring the, how I like to bring food, me and Ebony.
Are you gonna put her into it too?
We like to bring, or we go, don't matter, they don't have to be there. We got our own cooler and snacks.
Yeah, because you leaning onto your own understanding. You don't know what they got over there. They could have something good over there, but you don't trust them. You don't trust what's being provided for you. But the Israel didn't trust them either. They didn't trust in the Most High. They wanted to keep on. They was like, let me get some of these garlics and these leeks and these whatever else they were saying in their list of things that they wanted that was back over there in Egypt. By the way, that list don't even sound good anyway. The list of the stuff that they wanted to eat while they was in the wilderness that they was complaining about that they all wanted, that list, it don't even sound good to me. But that was what they knew. That was what they was familiar with. But the Most High was taking them out into something new. And so the same thing is true for you and I. Again, when we think about the Feast of Unleavened Bread, it's this week, but it exemplifies our life. It exemplifies the life that we live where we're perpetually making sure that the sin is out. Okay, I'm also saying that matzah, I'm saying matzah in a way kind of represents manna. When you're eating matzah, you're emulating a time that the people, they were following after Elohim and his guidance. And when we eat matzah, when we eat that yeastless bread, it represents sinless bread and sinless life. And so again, matzah again kind of is really a picture of, manna is a picture of matzah. This bread that's unleavened. If we're going to say leaven is sin, if we're going to say that regular bread is bread that is something that signifies the carnal mind, the physical realm, this leavened bread, this whole thing was kind of, it was an interesting situation because why did there even have to be like bread at all? Like if you just wanted to hurry up and go, like why couldn't you just why did it have to be like that? Bread. Like you don't have that much time, but you do have enough time, however long it takes to make matzah. How long did it take you to make that matzah from start to finish whenever you was making it? Was it quick?
No.
It's still like a process, right?
It's still a process. It only took a minute because I don't touch flour and all that stuff. Any other time of the year. So I was a little too sticky. I had to add some more flour.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's still a process.
But if you know it, it's quick though. You can do it quick, but it's still a process. Like you said, it's a process.
Yeah. But I'm saying that we have this thing as a teaching tool. Yeah. Because it kind of reminds us of this other thing, this other bread that we had that was unleavened. Okay, let's look at John 6, 31 through 33.
John 6:31. Our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, as it has been written, he gave them bread out of the heaven to eat. Therefore, Yeshua said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, Moshe did not give you bread out of the heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread out of the heaven. For the bread of Elohim is he who comes down out of the heaven and gives life to the world.
Okay, very good. So the bread that came down from heaven wasn't regular bread. Yeshua wasn't regular bread. It did say he came in the likeness of regular bread. But come on, man, he wasn't regular. He wasn't no regular bread. I'm just saying, he wasn't regular bread. Yeshua wasn't. Like he had some other things going on. You know what I'm saying? That regular bread don't got. Yeah. Bleached. There wasn't no yeast. There wasn't no yeast in that bread. Right? But to me, that points to Yeshua, right? The real bread from heaven, as Yeshua says over here. Right? There's no yeast in Yeshua. Right? He's sin-free, sinless. Regular bread can't represent Yeshua. Matzah does. Matzah represents Yeshua. Manna does. Manna even more because, again, like what is it? We have Yeshua and he's here and he's like what is it? Yeshua. Like he literally is manna. But he is the bread of life. Again, so we don't live by regular bread, but by the word of Elohim. John 1 tells us that the word of Elohim is Yeshua. So we physically do this object lesson for a week, but it's a microcosm. It's a microcosm of our life. To be unleavened in life, not for just a week, but forever. Olam, forever. Not part-time, not for a season, but for life. We come to Messiah and he redeems us and he saves us and he atones for us. We change ownership. We get a new master and we get a new life. And we no longer are treated as regular bread from the Most High.
And for primarily the younger people too, I want to help to conceptualize what we're talking about. I don't know, it just came to my head right now. But you got the physical, the scriptures talk about we don't live on bread alone, and that feeds your physical body. We all know we got to eat to sustain our body. But then also, when we think about Yeshua being the Word, when he came down, he was ultimately a collection, a representative of, how do I say it, thoughts and ideas of how Yah wanted us to actually walk and live on this earth. And so when we interact with each other, you're really breaking bread because you're throwing down ideas and we're chewing on each other's ideas. And can you digest it? Could you get with them? And some people reject it. But when Yeshua came and spoke, he didn't have none of this extra, these things, these yeast that we're speaking of, that would corrupt his thoughts and his ideas that he would give to the people. And so I just wanted to get that conceptualization out, that when we interact with each other, we're breaking bread. But it's mental, because the scriptures talk about, your spirit, does it eat physical bread? No. It eats the concepts, the ideas, the things that you put in your mind, that you put in that really directs your spirit.
Get 2 Corinthians 5:14.
Okay. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14. Did that make sense? Anybody? Okay. It says, for 2 Corinthians 5:14, for the love of Messiah compels us, having judged this, that if one died for all, then all died.
Keep on.
And he died for all, those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised. So from now onwards, we know no one according to the flesh, and if we have no Messiah according to the flesh, now we no longer know him thus.
Okay, so I know you now, those who are in Messiah, those who were bread, but now you're matzah. I know you as matzah. Just like the Most High know you as matzah. Right? He said, if we have known Messiah according to, so from now onwards, we know no one according to the flesh. I know no one according to what you used to be. Some of y'all used to be messed up, huh? But I don't know you according to that. I know you according to Messiah. I know you according to the Spirit of the Most High that now dwells inside of you and has changed you from the inside out. Miraculously changed you too. He took you from being some regular bread and turns you into matzah. That's impossible. How'd he do it? How'd he get in there? The thing got baked in there. The yeast is like it's like a science project. Like it metamorphosized bread does. But he miraculously changed you from that sin-filled thing, that lust. Hosea used to say, talk about people who say that they was a lust-filled demon. He took you and changed you from a lust-filled demon and turned you to the child of Elohim. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Okay, keep on going. 17, read down to 21.
Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he's a renewed creature. The old matters have passed away. See, all matters have become renewed. And all matters are from Elohim, who has restored us to favor with himself through Yeshua Messiah, and has given us the service of restoration to favor. That is, that Elohim was in Messiah restoring the world to favor unto himself, not reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of restoration to favor. Therefore, we are envoys on behalf of Messiah, as through Elohim, we're pleading through us. We beg on behalf of Messiah, be restored to favor with Elohim.
21.
For he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of Elohim.
Okay, very good. He made us matzah. He made us matzah. He transformed us into matzah. And then he commissioned us to call others to become matzah too. He transformed us miraculously into something else, from regular bread into matzah. No more reckoning their verse 19, not reckoning their trespasses to them. And so again, when you think about Paul, Paul was talking about, and the fact that he got this battle that he's going through, where he's dealing with the spirit inside of him having him to do one thing, and his flesh wanting him to do another thing. So that's to say, he's been redeemed, he's been transformed in his mind, but he's still got this flesh that's right here. But verse 19 said, not reckoning their trespasses to them. He's not dealing with you according to this flesh. When we're walking in Messiah. Okay, so he's made us matzah. It's interesting that, with these kids, we got these little kids. We have big ones and little ones. We clean up for unleavened bread, but it's like you got to clean up after unleavened bread. There's matzah crumbs all over the place. Huh? When somebody was eating some matzah, there's some crumbs right over there. All over the place. I don't even know some of these places how the matzah get over there. But that's a lesson though for us, ain't it though?
Yeah.
Because he said over here that we're supposed to be these what did he say? We was therefore we are envoys on behalf of Messiah. We're representatives of Messiah. And we go around being Messiah for those who don't know Messiah. We go around leaving little matzah crumbs for them to follow so they can reach and meet Messiah. So I I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to just to bring to our remembrance, just for us not to forget this, the reason for these things that we do. Right? It's not about regular bread and matzah and yeast and baking soda and whatever else that's used to leaven bread. Right? It's about not even matzah, but what it represents, that sinlessness that we experience in Messiah. It's about Messiah in you, transforming you from something into the righteousness of Elohim. He said we might become the righteousness of Elohim, the manifest character of the Most High walking around here bodily. And so let us, as we, move forward, remember to, we should really be out here, dropping crumbs all over the place. We should really be out here letting it be known that it was some matzah that was over here, and there's more where that came from. Right? This is we have a mission. Everybody got the mission. Nobody's excluded. Everybody is a envoy on behalf of Messiah. No one's left out. If you've received Messiah, you became matzah, and now share that matzah with somebody else. Show them how they could become matzah. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts? Good.
Kind of brought up, we were singing this earlier, we get all matzah. You said put that matzah off you, right, Brother Tony? Hey, so nice, we're not regular people, we're matzah. When you were talking about, I was thinking about having a shirt, matzah, water matzah. He got the whole world in his hand. He got the whole wide world in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He got the whole world in his hand. He's got all of these people now in his hand. He's got all of these people now in his hand. He's got all of these people, hallelujah, in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. I'm going to switch up. You got to help us with that. Am I ready? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine.
Let your little light shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, 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 shine. No matzah.
Hallelujah.
Let him shine.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, so for now, I guess then we'll conclude As far as this over here, y'all willing, we'll be back on Shabbat with our regular Shabbat lesson. But for now, we'll conclude our closing convocation for Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we'll say Shabbaton Shalom.
Shalom.